This has to be probably the cheapest, most budget trainer from Nabalis, and there are some compromises. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys all about those compromises, surprisingly the few amount of compromises, and why this is necessarily a cheaper Balisong. So I'm also going to talk to you guys about my opinion on this knife too, as this is a pass-around knife. I should also note that this is going to be a bit different from some of your guys' experience. I don't really have much time with this Balisong to sort of break it down completely and wear this in for the next few months, so I don't really have as much of a scope to give you guys a full breakdown of how this thing is going to operate, as most people do with a pass round. I should also note that this is a pass round from Pyro Flipper. Let's go ahead and get started off with the specifications of this. As similar to the other trainers in the lineup of Nabalis Balisong, is using 420 steel for the blade steel, and it has a new trainer design, even though it is the same shape as the Morse. I should also clarify that this is using the same platform as the Morse, so it's going to have the same specifications and relatively the same shape. It may have a different design, but it is on the same platform. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this Balisong. This is still relatively the same as the Morse. Again, just a bit cheaper. Moving on down, we have Zen pins that are press fit. This is definitely on par with the experience I've had with other Nabalis Balisongs and trainers. I should note though that this is a better experience than the Wave, because none of these pins have fallen out. The hardware experience as well has been good. Surprisingly, it is T10. I'm very glad for that. They stuck with that from the Wave. I definitely think that was a good change, so good job, Nabalis, for sticking to that. The next thing we should talk about, though, is a compromise, and that is on the blade. This is a non-chamfered or non-rounded spine. The Morse, I believe, was chamfered. This is just completely flat. These edges might feel a bit sharp, maybe a bit too square for someone who is a beginner or someone who hasn't had their fingers conditioned to Balisong wear. So this might be something to look out for if you're looking for a Balisong that has rounding on it. But this just does not have that, so that is one of the compromises when you're paying $45. Another compromise we should talk about is the pivot system, because this is on washers only, which is not as good as bushings, but those are relatively hard to tune sometimes. And a washer system is pretty simple. It is just two bronze phosphorus washers holding the blade inside of the handles. Now, the tolerances for me so far have been pretty good. I'm wiggling it as hard as I normally would, and there's no tap, which is pretty good. And there's relatively very minimal play too, which is surprising on a washer only system. So this is a very good washer only system. But as far as washer systems worldwide go, this is pretty on par. Now, this is going to degrade over time, and the tolerances are going to worsen, as it is pretty common with washer systems to do, which is why bushing systems are better, because they're going to hold out tolerances a lot longer than a normal washing system would. But thankfully, Nabalis does give you extra hardware that allows you to replace the hardware when that time does come. Speaking of extra hardware, we should talk about the things that the knife does come with, since we're on that topic. And it does come with the standard stuff. You have your bottle of Loctite right here. You do get some tools. This is a T10 bit, and you also get another one inside the hardware kit. You get pivots, screws, and an extra set of washers inside the box. One thing that was kind of surprising, though, is that there are no instructions with this one. I don't know if that is from the pivot system change or the fact that it is on a similar platform to an already existing Nabalis Balisong. So I'm not too sure, but there is no instructions inside. This is the teal one, as you can see here, and nothing really too special in the box. Comes pretty similar box as the Morse does. Moving on down, we should talk about the handles. These are channel aluminum 6061 aluminum handles, and they have a new design on the face, and they have jimping on the outside and the inside. This is a good addition, especially if you're having a Balisong on a channel aluminum style platform, as aluminum already is just really slippery, especially if you add an anodizing finish, which leads me into one of the things I don't necessarily like about this Balisong, and that is how slippy it is. The face is fine. There is a lot of grip, and the area where the jimping is fine too. And the blade, since it isn't like, rounded or anything, it does add a bit of grip, and it's kind of gritty sometimes. It does add to the gripping experience, but the handles are just super slippery, especially around this area. If you're trying to do technical tricks where you're trying to grip it and then like toss it, like I was trying to do double giraffes with this thing because I started officially practicing that, and for some reason I was just not able to grip this thing, and it was super frustrating. It was really slippery. This thing is just super slick, and that old classic trick of just rubbing it like inside a pocket or like rolling it up in a shirt and like scrubbing around for a bit it just does not work with this thing. This thing is super, super slippery, which is kind of the downfall of aluminum, especially if you're getting an anodized finish on it. It's just not going to be as grippy as a G10 Balisong or a titanium Balisong would, because the anodizing on the aluminum just makes it super, super slippery. I don't know what it was with the wave, but that anodizing finish and the finish they put on it was just super grippy, and it just was a lot better experience with this thing. It's just kind of the same thing with the Morse. The Morse platform was just kind of always slippery to begin with. Other than that, though, I don't really have much problems with this Balisong. As far as the flipping experience goes, I think this is pretty on par with the balance of the Morse. Also, I want to just go in on this bottle opener thing on the blade. Ever since I got this thing, I've just absolutely hated bottle openers. Something about this just unlocked like a huge like despisatory portion of me that did not like bottle openers. I don't know what it is, but I feel like right now, if you are making a trainer blade with a bottle opener on it, you just need to stop, because it is so played out at this point. I just can't take it anymore. I don't really get the point of adding a secondary purpose as something that is so niche. Like, the Balisong community already is a super niche community in the knife community, so it's kind of a weird thing to do something like this on a community that is like 99% kids. I doubt even BB Barfly, who was like the first to sort of popularize the idea of putting a bottle opener in a trainer blade, had like 100% of their audience who bought it use the bottle opener. And if they did, it was for shits and giggles. Let's be honest. I think these bottle openers are played out. This doesn't make your trainer blade any better. I feel like a good design from the get-go is better than having a bottle opener in your blade. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because there's not much more to say. There's no pros or cons to having a bottle opener in your blade. I just feel like having a better trainer design is better. That's all I'm going to say about that. As far as the experience with this Balisong I think this is a good Balisong, especially if you're looking for a really, really budget one. Even though this is only $45, I feel like you do get your money's worth with this Balisong, especially in the case of getting extra hardware and tools and like a whole basically a whole beginner setup for you. I do feel like this is the epitome of beginner setup, because there's a lot of people out there asking for a good experienced Balisong for like under $100, and this is a very, very good one. You do get some compromises like the washer system and the spine, but I doubt really anyone's going to care, because, you know, the spine, you're just going to get used to it, and the washers, like if you're a beginner, you don't really care too much about tolerances. So this is perfectly fine. I also should mention the sound profile is just okay, because it's not on bushings. It's not going to be super good. That should have been predictable from the beginning. And because it's aluminum, I mean, aluminum can sound very good. It's just always just going to be super clunky and chunky. It's not going to sound like ringy and hollow like titanium would, unless it's like super, super glassy tuned. But, you know, this is about as good as you're going to get for $45. Probably the best you're going to get for $45. I've yet to see a knife kind of match the value you're getting with this kind of money. You're getting a full metal Balisong with good tolerances out of the box, basically a starter kit inside the box with it, and overall good quality and good quality flipping experience. So that's all I have to say about this Balisong. Let me know what you guys think about this Balisong in the comment section. The link again will be in the description down below. If you want to watch the Morse video, there should have been a pop-up somewhere when I mentioned it first, but the link to it will be in the description down below as well. Thank you guys for watching. More Balisong reviews coming in the future. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time.